Hello, welcome back to How to Write Brilliant Paragraphs. Lesson 3, we're going to be looking at how to put imagery into your writing. So like before, I want to recap what we've done on the last section. Can you remember what adjectives and adverbs are? An adjective describes a noun, so a person, a thing or a place. An adverb describes a verb, so a doing word or activity. Like our adjectives and adverbs, we're looking at words today that are going to make our things stand out, things that are going to look better. So what I want you to think about is how a good piece of text makes you feel when you read it. Using imagery encourages an imaginative presence in your head. So not only do you able to read the words, but you can see the picture of what's happening unfold as you read it. Can you think of anything you've read that makes you feel something straight away? Now, I'd like you to use your imagination. I'm going to read a section of Alice in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. All I want you to do is close your eyes and think about what image you've got. Alice was beginning to get very tired of sitting by her sister on the bank and of having nothing to do. Once or twice she had peeped into the book her sister was reading, but it had no pictures or conversations in it. And what was the use of a book, thought Alice, without pictures or conversations? So she was considering, in her own mind, as well she could, for the hot day made her feel very sleepy and stupid, whether the pleasure of making a daisy chain would be worth the trouble of getting up and picking the daisies, when suddenly a white rabbit with pink eyes ran close by her. There was nothing so very remarkable in that, nor did Alice think it so much out of the way to hear the rabbit say to itself, oh dear, I shall be late." When she thought it over afterwards, it occurred to her that she ought to have wondered at this, but at the time it all seemed quite natural. But when the rabbit actually took a watch out of its waistcoat pocket and looked at it, and then hurried on, Alice started to her feet, for it flashed across her mind that she had never before seen a rabbit with either a waistcoat pocket or a watch to take out of it, and burning with curiosity she ran across the field after it, and fortunately was just in time to see it pop down a large rabbit hole under the hedge. Do you have a clear image in your head? What did those words create for you? I'd like you to write down anything that you thought, heard or felt as I was reading. You can replay this part if it helps you. So every time I read that bit, I picture a fluffy little rabbit in a black waistcoat with a little red bow tie. Did you get something like that? What about the way Alice reacted? Was she fast when she got up? Did she chase him? Or did she merely idle curiously? How the writer does this is the language he uses. Was there anything Lewis Carroll created in a specific choice of words? So we're going to look at how you can do this in your paragraphing. Some of the ways that Lewis Carroll uses, although you might not have seen it quite so clearly in that bit, is antonyms, words that mean the opposite of what you want to say. Alliteration, so where every word starts with the same letter. Emotive language, using your emotions to describe something. Similes, so that's describing again. Metaphors. Comparing something as something else. Synonyms. So using a wider range of vocabulary to mean the same thing. Instead of saying Alice got up, Alice started. And creative language. So using language that has a broader, more flowery feel to it rather than specific set of instructions. Today we're going to look at just similes and metaphors. So specifically, a simile means to describe something using as or like. He was as strong as a lion. A metaphor describes something literally. So we're saying he was a lion. You know that lions are strong, therefore you assume he was strong. Were there any metaphors or similes in that bit of text I've read? I want you to look at your own work. With the information I'm about to give you, can you add a simile and a metaphor to create an image? Grab your pen and paper. Two girls were walking. One girl stopped walking and stood next to a tree. The first girl kept walking. The second girl had to run to catch up. These are almost like instructions. They're a little bit bland. So if we add a simile or a metaphor, we can create a better picture. Here's my examples. Two girls were walking. They walked like gazelles in the jungle. One girl stopped walking and stood next to a tree. She was a giant next to the small tree. The first girl kept walking. She was like a cannonball, refusing to stop or slow. The second girl had to run to catch up. She was a cheetah, running to catch up. Can you tell which ones are the similes and which ones are the metaphors? Remember, a simile is describing using like or as, and a metaphor is a direct comparison. Add yours in the comments and I'll be able to see how well you did. I want you to go back to your paragraph writing to complete the next section of your story. Remember the rules that we've already learned. Write at least another 3 paragraphs. By now you should be between 6 and 10 paragraphs long. Each paragraph should be a minimum of 3 sentences. Add at least one simile or metaphor in your new paragraph. Remember, a simile or metaphor gives imagery. It makes your picture come alive. Good luck!